Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So, in today's video, I'm sharing with you a new banana wine recipe. You might have seen I've done a video a few years back when I've made a banana wine. However, it turned out to be a 15%. It was really lovely. It was full of banana flavor, but after a couple of glasses at 15%, you could be as pissed as a fart. Being of course a ladylike, I decided to create something a little bit less alcoholic and a little bit less sweet. So I've been experimenting with this for a couple of years and basically trying to get you the best possible outcome from our banana and selection of ingredients. Here in front of me, guys, this was something that I've made a year ago, and this is what we're trying to recreate today. It's been aging, and you can see it's very nice golden in color, and it is very clear. I have made some changes to my previous recipe. I've actually changed the yeast. I used to use the Young's yeast, and now I actually changed to the Lalvin yeast. I found it that with the first batch, guys, when I did the wine, I had to rack it approximately 4 times, and then even after I bottled it, I actually still had some sediment when the wine was aging. However, after changing the yeast and a couple of things, I found that I only had to rack it twice, and even with the aging, I do not have to have, or I don't have any sediment in the bottles whatsoever. So as it comes to the flavor, guys, okay, it is super fresh, okay? It's been chilled. You would like to have this chilled anyway. It does have certain notes, which I'll take you through later, but it is, unlike the other one, guys, that was 15%. This one will be less alcoholic and just a little bit more crisper. So, without further ado, guys, let me take you through. It is, again, very straightforward, but we have here approximately 4 kilos of bananas. They have to be really ripe. Again, I'm using them peeled as a 4 kilos. When you unpeel them, they'll be yielding approximately 3 kilos. I'm going to have 150 grams of dates. I have 3 dried lemon pieces, sorry. I have a couple of cloves, okay. We have 1 kilo of sugar, okay. We have 5 grams of this yeast, and we're going to be adding on 5 liters of water. So we're going to be yielding approximately 4 liters of wine in the end. So guys, without further ado, all we have to do first is to peel and cut our bananas. So guys, okay, the bananas are done, okay, they're here, all cut, ready to go. We have lost 1 or 2 because they were too bruised. It's okay, a little bruising is absolutely fine. Very important to make sure, guys, the bananas are actually ripe and not, because otherwise you have no flavor whatsoever. So next thing is, guys, let's add on our pitted dates. You don't have to cut them, you can cut them if you want to, I don't bother, so add them on. And the reason, guys, I've changed from the grapes to dates, as we know, we're adding on grapes for a little bit of color and for tannin. Well, actually, pitted dates have more tannin than grapes, and they actually add on a really nice flavor, which actually complements the wine perfectly. I've been using them in red and in the, obviously, the lighter color wine, and it actually works wonders. So that's the reason I'm adding on the dates. Next thing, guys, I'm adding on dehydrated lemon pieces. I've got 3 of those. Again, if you add on the fresh lemons, okay, they give it quite a little bit of acidity. However, dehydrated ones, for some reason, give it a little bit more bitterness, and this is where we're heading to for the dry wine. So hence, I'm adding on those. And last but not least, a couple of cloves. Again, for a little bit of aroma and for that bit of smokiness in the end, okay? So now it's all in, okay? We have our bottles here again. For all of you who ask every time I do this why I use the bottled water, well, because our tap water is absolutely disgusting. I know I'm going to be boiling it, but I don't like it and I don't want to use it. And I have a filter, I could refilter and use it, but I'll be there for half a day pouring the filtered water. It's just easier, guys, so there we are. Right, so all I'm going, this is the 2 liter bottle of water. So it's going to go in, we'll just wash it again, and it doesn't always work again. The tornadoes not always work. Right, okay, so 2 liters gone in. We're now going to put it on, and we're going to bring this to the boil, and we're going to boil our bananas for about 10 to 15 minutes until they become mushy and regained color in our mash. So guys, the bananas have boiled, and you will notice when they're done, guys, they're kind of swelling up and they are swimming to the top. The dates are at the bottom and they are separated with their skin, so you know we're kind of at the position or the stage we need to be at. So next thing is just turn down the heat. We're going to dissolve our sugar. Again, I'm only using 1 kilo of sugar because we have sweetness in the bananas and the dates, and we're trying to cut the alcohol by volume, so less sugar means less alcohol. So a kilo of sugar goes in. I'm just using plain white sugar. You can use brown sugar or demerara for a slightly rich color, but I think that's a pretty awesome color. As you probably noticed, it's been going down already. It's super nice, guys. You would not regret it, I promise you. Okay. So, sugar is in. Give it 5 minutes. Keep stirring and make sure it dissolves. And then we'll go to the next stage of putting it into our bucket. Alright guys, we're now ready to put this all in the bucket. So, first things first, because the liquid is still very hot, we're putting our water in first. Okay. Every time I do this on camera, the little thingy swirly thing, it just doesn't work. Right, I'm putting only half of this one because we need 5 liters, okay? Approximately. Give or take, that's fine by me. Okay. So, next thing is, guys, we're going to add on our liquid. Don't let it get too cold because we want the temperature of this to be about 22 degrees, so we don't have to soak our yeast. Okay, in there goes. And she gets splat in the face yet again. Here we go. Right. Oh, one date got left behind. Wash that in there. Give it a mix up. You can see the color. It's already nice golden color. Okay. So, let's take a reading. Sorry, I hope you can see that. We're floating. Right, we are at pretty much the standard average 1.060. Okay, so now I'm going to pitch the yeast. This is actually a sparkling wine yeast, but it works super well in the wines, red and white, and it works really well with a cider. So sprinkle down the top, lid on, and there we are, guys. Okay, this is a Cooper's bucket. You might have seen me using this before. It does not require the airlock on the first instance. We are going to be racking this in approximately a week time to the bucket with the airlock. I said for the first instance, this is absolutely fine. I love those buckets. I say this every time. If you ever come across them, just certainly buy it. They're clear. You guys get to see what you're doing. You get to see what I'm doing. And I think they're absolutely brilliant. So anyway, all we're going to do now, put this in one place, guys, and I shall see you in about 5 to 7 days. So guys, the week have passed and this is the state of our banana wine. You can see, okay, that the bananas are all floating to the top and we have a slightly clearer section down below. As it's a week, it's my golden rule. I like to take the mash out of the stuff within a week. So this is exactly what we're going to be doing today. Right, let's have a look. It actually smells very nice. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take a little sample as usual. This is like the best part of it. Actually, the best part is drinking the final result, but nonetheless, see if we can get some out. The banana's always getting away. Okay, right, what we got? Okay. Get some chunks as well. Yes, It's at the moment, guys, it's actually very hard to tell, but it's still got sugar in it. Of course, there's not finished fermenting, and they have a chunk of banana or whatever is in there. But nonetheless, it does have really pleasant aroma, and that the date do give just that little bit of the woody flavor. Of course, this wine has to have obviously another rack off and have to sit there and age for a little bit, but the flavor will change drastically between now and then. Every time you seem to do the middle tasting between when I do the first rack, everything seems to taste that much sweeter and that much more let's say flavorful, but just that much more aromatic of the original fruit. Of course, after it's been sitting for a bit, it will develop more into a wine taste, if that makes sense. So without further ado, guys, I'm going to be transferring this into a demijohn. And the beauty of those buckets, like I always say, it's got one of those attachments that go in the bottom of the tap, and it's got the little pipette, so I don't have to mess around with the siphon. So this is what I'm going to do in a second. What I generally like to do is to put one of the small little sieves inside, just to stop the big banana chunks getting into our tap. So I shall see you in a second. So guys, here we are, look. Okay, what a lovely golden color. There's a couple of things, obviously a couple of banana things escaped through, but that's not a big deal. We're going to be racking it later on again. So all I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to put the airlock in, and of course it goes back into the warm place for a couple of weeks. See you then. So guys, to give you an update, so this is what our wine looks after 3 weeks. As you can see, guys, it is pretty much super clear. I have just moved the futility here, so the few bits are sort of risen up to the top, but it is very golden, very beautiful, and pretty much perfectly clear. It is still actually fermenting. It's sitting there. I can still see bubbles coming up there, so it's still kind of doing what it needs to do. One thing that I've noticed though, which is a little bit frustrating, that I actually left a clove. When I did my final siphoning, obviously I've poured stuff through, and unfortunately that one actually escaped and got in. I wanted to get this out, like guys, as I said, because too much of clove can give you a little bit of bitterness. However, annoyingly, this one stayed, but I do hope that this potentially maybe make the wine a little bit better rather than worse. Otherwise, that'll be slightly bit disappointing. However, as you can see, as I said, that looks pretty amazing. As I think looking at it now, guys, this probably has another week or so to go, but I just wanted to kind of give you an update so you can have a look and see this is a perfect example of really straightforward fermentation. So anyway, let me put that back in a warm environment, and I shall see you when it's done, when we're going to be bottling it. So guys, a couple of weeks have passed, and this is what we have now. It finally has finished fermenting. Yet again, I moved it, so it has got slight disturbance there. However, it is 100% clear, give or take a little haze from the moving, and it is basically ready to be bottled. So first thing is we're going to do, guys, we're going to go and give it a taste and just take a measure. Right, make sure obviously you sterilize your stuff. So let's taste it first. My favorite bit. Let's see what it tastes like first. Very light in color, much lighter than my initial. Okay, here we go, look. Nice, very nice color actually, very nice. It smells nice. This actually smells more like wine, if that makes sense. And I was slightly a bit worried, guys, because I left the clover in there, and I was wondering whether it's going to make it really bitter. So let's fingers crossed it's not. The clover was swimming at the top, it's finally sunk, so we are 100% ready. All right, okay, wish me luck. Oh wow, okay. That's actually very good. It's very light, I give it that. There's a teeny weeny bit of bitterness, but not like bitter, just that alcohol wine bitterness, if that makes sense. Just a teeny weeny bit, just enough. Okay, I definitely don't taste any of the yeast like in some wines before. It's very crisp, I must say, it's very crisp, and I'm very impressed. The point was, guys, as I told you, the new recipe with the new addition stuff, okay? The whole idea said that we didn't want to be able to rack it, or don't have to rack it any more than once. So we've done the initial first fermentation, put this in a bottle, that's it. We don't need to do it. You can do this again, but it's totally unnecessary. If I didn't have to move it, and I suggest, guys, before you bottle it at the stage where it's standing around, because obviously you will disturb it a teeny weeny bit, like I did here. It's not a big deal, but by far the result of using this recipe to my previous one, the clarity of the wine and the freshness of it, and the sort of the aromas which will develop over the time, is just so much better than an initial one. So anyway, let's do the gravity measure, okay? So initial one, it was 1.060, right? So let's see, I would assume we're going to be around 0.990, something like that. I'm so impressed with the color. That is like really, really nice. When we're using or producing slightly lower alcohol level, you seem to need quite a bit more for the thing to float. Right. Am I going to be right? Yeah, it's at the top. So we are pretty much spot on. Come on, turn around. On 0.990. So yeah, guys, we'll be looking at 9.5% as a funnel, which is pretty good. It's slightly been improved to my 14.5%. I got to say, guys, the 14.5% is great, but it's nicer to have options and slightly crispier wine. So guys, right, next thing, I'm just going to bottle them. I'm happy with the results. I'm happy with everything. I'm not going to move this here. I've got 5 bottles ready, so I'm just going to get them bottled up. Obviously, make sure, guys, you do disinfect your bottles, and if you are using a mass sterilizer, that smells a bit like bleach, do make sure you do rinse it all properly, because I had instances before where I opened a bottle of wine and it stunk like bleach and it was not good. So we are good. So I'm going to use my siphon and off we go. So guys, we are done. I'm leaving this mank behind. Okay, I've already got a teeny weeny bit in my bottles anyway, but I just wanted to get the final results, guys, as clear as possible. As I said, I have had the previous bottles that I did a few years back. They were quite sedimenty. It was quite a lot of haze in the bottles, okay? And I wanted to eliminate that. I want to create as best as possible bottles by the look. I have made a bit of a spillage. I hate using the siphons, but anyway, nonetheless, guys, all I'm gonna do, just to give them a good wipe. Okay, it smells like a brewery here, with a lake on the floor, and get them closed up. Voila, we're all done. So your choices are, guys, now, like, you can either drink them now, or you can, of course, put them away if you have the patience and wait for them to mature. As I've done before, guys, I had and I tasted the banana wine I did before. That was, I think, 3 or 4 years old, and it has initially got better with age. However, it was much more stronger wine. No doubt, this sitting in a cool place will also mature. It will still settle a bit more and just develop those more of a pruny flavors. It will be just that little bit better. However, in my instance, I think I'll be enjoying few of those very, very soon. And I'll probably put 1 or 2, as I normally do with my other brews, into the storage, so we can come back to this few years down the line and give it a taste. So at the moment, I'm going to enjoy my lovely, lovely banana wine. I do, guys, hope that you have enjoyed this recipe. I've simplified this. I made it easy, so even if you're just novice and newbie to brewing any sort of country wines, that is a really straightforward and really easy recipe that yields you really perfectly crisp white wine. So cheers, guys. Thank you for watching. See you soon. Bye bye.